Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. And today we have a very special bottle from the smallest distillery in the Scottish Highlands, the Edradour distillery. And this Edradour distillery belonged for years and years to the Pernod Ricard company and was sold, I think, in the year 2002, 2003 to the independent bottler Signatory Vintage. And then the new proprietor, it's Andrew Symington, he decided to change production. In former times, there had only been the 10 years old from Edradour on the market. I don't know whether I had tasted it already in English language. I have tasted it already, I can tell you. He decided this 10-year-old is famous for its sherry cask character, and he decided to have different casks to mature the whiskey in, and in this case, first fill ex-bourbon casks. There are a lot of different bottlings on the market from the Edradour distillery. Some first fill port, first fill sherry, first fill Madeira, first fill something. But a lot of finished whiskies, because the old whiskey from the times before the switch of ownership were refill casks. So he used them for further maturation in Bordeaux, Bourgogne, Marsala, Sauternes, and whatever. And here, for this special bottle, he used first fill ex-bourbon casks. This was not typical for Edradour then, and he writes on the back of the tube, 2003 marked what we believe to have been the first time that Edradour new spirit was filled into first fill bourbon barrels. This was done as part of our experimentation with new wood types at Edradour and involved 162 bourbon barrels from a variety of USA distilleries being filled that year. 162 barrels. That's an awful lot, because Edradour is the smallest distillery in the Highlands of Scotland, and the production is not very big. And I have news to tell. Edradour is planning a new distillery. It will be built in the 2015-2016, close to the existing distillery. The council has already approved first plans, so these very small stills, which produce only a limited amount, and the huge success for the Edradour after the change of ownership will bring brought a big demand for Edradour single malt whiskies, and this will be fulfilled with a new distillery. There were no further fillings into bourbon cask until 2006, by which time we were able to have determined the most satisfactory early results of maturation. 2010 marked the first of a series of limited edition releases of Edradour matured solely in bourbon casks. So this decanter was there already before 2010, but then it were different casks. There were a sherry decanter still on the market, and also a bourbon decanter, but I think it was not first fill bourbon, but second fill bourbon, finished in first fill bourbon or whatever. So there had been this bottling also, but not with solely first fill ex-bourbon. The whiskey, which is soft gold in color, it's quite light, it's uncolored, it's 59% ABV, so it should be darker. So I don't know how the casks in the bourbon distillery were used for a long time, that most of the color from the caramelized wood sugars were already sucked out by the bourbon, or if they were less treated by heat, so that there is less wood converted into caramel. I don't know. Shows all the classic attributes of Edradour enriched by the soft vanilla, tangerine, and coconut character one typically associates with bourbon maturation. We're extremely proud of quality, blah, blah, blah. The decanter, I think it's called the Episco decanter. It's a huge and wonderful bottle. You have a wonderful view on the whiskey itself. There's an engraving for the Edradour, and the cask which was filled is written here on this label. Bourbon cask matured Highland single malt Scotch whisky, vintage 2003, 6th release, distilled February 2003, bottled 17th December 2013, limited to 1,875 decanters. So this is not a single cask. Bourbon cask matured. No single cask, 1,875 decanters. In cask strength, you would have approximately 180 liters still left over, 170 liters still left over in the cask, then filled in 70 centiliters, gives a little more, so 8 casks perhaps were filled for this bottling. So the 6th release should hold for quite a time. Alcohol, strong alcohol, 59 ABV, a lot. And then vanilla and caramel and fruitiness. The coconut, I'm afraid not. Fruitiness, sweetness. And this aromatic American oak. A little bit reminds it of a bourbon, but only a little bit. Sweet fruit gum. Yeah, I do not taste whiskey straight with such a high ABV because I want to preserve my taste buds. So it's close to 60% and going down to 40%. This takes quite a lot of water and it won't water down. More fruitiness, more vanilla, a burst of flavors, and no longer alcoholic sharpness. Wonderful. This is really untypical for an Edradour. I wouldn't have guessed that this one is from Edradour in a blind tasting. It's somewhere from the Space side. There's a little intense distillery character in it, which comes from the small stills of Edradour. The smaller a still is, the more intense aromas it produces. Fruitiness, sweetness, vanilla, caramel, sweetness. Yeah. Thank you for watching Whisky.com. If you compare this video to a bottle you find on a shelf, this is the 6th release. And please note that my personal feelings will be different to yours. So it might be that my feelings with this bottle will be your feelings with the next 7th release, but with the 6th release you will have different feelings than I have. That's how our mind works. Stay tuned with Whisky.com, there's more to come. let us talk about this bottle in the newly opened forum, and feel free to share this video with your friends.